Hi, welcome to the course of Artificial Intelligence. Let us look at what we will be learning in this lecture. We will define AI and its requirements. We will try to differentiate between AI and automation. We will also look at some of the approaches of artificial intelligence and tools, and we will look at the application areas of AI in the real world. So let us start by defining what's an AI and its requirements. Artificial intelligence is an area of computer science that emphasizes the creation of intelligent machines that work and react like humans. There are primarily three requirements that define AI. It needs to be able to adapt its behavior based on experience. So just as any human evolves over a period of time and he gains experience, the same way even an AI system evolves over a period of time. Next, it needs to be able to learn on its own. So when we say a system needs to learn on its own, just as a human, he learns through both active and passive messages. He learns through his subconscious mind. So even an AI system needs to be able to do the same. Next comes, it needs to be able to come up with unanticipated results. A human, a lot of times in his life, tries to preempt certain situations in life. The way he does it could be, because of a database which is there in his brain, which has been created both through subjective as well as objective learning. So the same way an AI system needs to, come up with unanticipated results. Uh, Ultimately, the system needs to aid anyone in decision making and predictions. Now let us try to differentiate between artificial intelligence and automation. We have been hearing this term automation for quite some time. Certain terms named test automation, process automation. Automation in generic terms applies to any machine which does a repetitive and a monotonous task. It follows a pre-programmed set of rules, while an AI system needs to simulate a human thinking. It needs to make decision based on a particular context, a situation. So basically an AI needs to make a machine capable to solve problems. So when we say a machine needs to be made capable to solve problems, it means that we need to train the brain of a machine in such a way that it is able to solve any problem based on any context. So it needs to have a collective information of not only the data, but also the intelligence to apply and come up with solutions to a certain problem. Let us look at some of the approaches of AI. AI can be divided into four different categories based on the approach. It could be a statistical approach, it could be a cybernetics and a brain simulation approach, it could be a symbolic approach, it could be a cognitive simulation approach. Coming to the first one, statistical approach, it is completely based on probability theory. Likelihood of an event occurring is what the probability theory defines. We will look at this in detail in upcoming chapters. For now, we will look at the other approaches. A cybernetics and a brain simulation can be something which can be thought of, say, a food app which constantly keeps on taking feedback from its customers, and it comes back with certain suggestions based on your likes and dislikes. A symbolic approach is completely based on rules and facts which are already defined. For example, it could be applied in the areas of a criminal justice system, say a law and order system where the rules are already defined, and based on uh, a certain fact, it comes up with solutions. A cognitive simulation is an extension of cybernetics and brain simulation. For example, in the Amazon app, a customer keeps on searching for certain items of his likes. The app comes back with certain suggestions of uh, items based on his likes and dislikes. It keeps on accumulating this kind of information somewhere in its database, and it gives suggestions to the customers based on his interest. So this is something which is again an extension of brain simulation, but it could also use a symbolic and a statistical approach here and there. Let us look at some of the tools for AI. We will be covering all these tools in detail in the upcoming chapters. For now, we will just list those tools. The tools could be search and optimization tools, logic tools, probability-based methods and tools, and neural networks. Now let us look at some of the sectors where AI is used. Let us look at the e-commerce sector first. We have seen Amazon showing advertisements of your interest based on products you view or based on past purchases that you've made. It also comes up with the search of products of your interest. Now, how does it do? It could apply a cognitive simulation approach or a brain simulation approach or a combination of all those approaches. It might be using methods of which we discussed earlier, search and optimization methods. The next sector is the automotive and transportation sector. We have been hearing of the self-driving cars. It is completely based on artificial intelligence. Self-driving cars also need to know the distance between two objects, for example, when it is moving in the roads. So how does it do it? There are a lot of approaches called supervised learning, unsupervised learning, which we'll be discussing in the further chapters. GPS navigation, which we frequently use, also uses an AI engine through which it gives us the shortest and the fastest route. Now let us look at the application of AI in the banking and finance sector. Banks can use AI for risk assessment before issuing a credit card. It can also use AI for fraud detection. For risk assessment, machine learning algorithms can be more useful, enabling lenders to dynamically include additional sources such as current wealth, property ownership, insurance claims, social network profile, and other personal indicators, thereby creating a more holistic profile of the borrower. This profile can be checked before issuing a credit card. On the fraud detection part, there is already an AI firm named Teradata that sells fraud detection solutions to banks. Banks know the spending behavior of customers in retail and e-commerce shopping. A sudden transaction made by someone on a subject of different interest or from sites other than what the customer normally buys from can be detected by banks by applying machine learning algorithms on the spending behavior. Geolocational data may also be used since fraudulent transactions normally occur far away from where the account owner lives. Other sectors where AI is used are healthcare, video games, for example, chess games, then human resources, maybe for hiring, interviewing, etc., etc. Well, let us look at some of the applications that use AI. Gaming applications. Artificial intelligence plays an important role in strategy games like chess, tic-tac-toe, etc., etc. Here, the machine thinks of multiple possible steps based on heuristic knowledge. We've also seen, a virtual user playing with a real user in these games. Natural language processing. Natural language processing is the ability to communicate with computers that understand human-used natural language, which means that a human can converse with a computer. Visual systems. A spying plane or drone takes pictures which are used to make sense of spatial data that becomes a guide of the zones and areas. For example, this can be used by our military system. Speech recognition. This is again a byproduct of natural language processing, where the systems that understand the human language and can talk to them in that language. Let us look at some of the applications that use AI. Autonomous or self-driven vehicles, which are a very new concept. Probably it will be common in the coming few years. Biometrics for face recognition in smartphones. We often keep looking for smartphones which have face unlock. Now, that is again an AI-based engine. Spam filtering by browsers and internet security providers, online advertisements, medical diagnosis. In the medicine sector, it can be used to diagnose a blood sample to decide on whether a person is diabetic or not. Even the Google Now, Siri, Cortana are all intelligent digital personal assistants on various platforms like iOS, Android, and Windows. They provide information when we ask for it using our voice. So we can use them to make calls, send messages, set reminders, take notes, and all other blah blah. Well, let us look at customers' voice in terms of likes and dislikes in using AI applications. So we have two factors. One is love, the other one is like. The rest of them, you can count them as neutral, or the feedback was not taken by the rest of the population. We say credit card fraud detection is loved by 46% and liked by 40%. The rest are neutral. Email spam filters is loved by 34% and liked by 46%. Predictive text, which is often used by the Google search engine, for example, is loved by 19% and liked by 43%. Self-driving cars, even though it is not very common, not many people would have seen it. The sampling itself could have been small, but still out of that sample, 17% have loved it and 29% have liked it. Let us look at some of the suggestions for business entities so that they can be AI enabled. First and foremost, the companies need to start delegating their routine tasks to AI software so that human personnel can be involved in other areas of strategic business growth. Usage of chatbot software for customer inquiries and issues. We have been seeing this when a customer tries to log a complaint, or he opens a site and automatically a chat window opens up which starts conversing with the customer. The companies also need to look at upskilling their existing workforce and make them AI enabled so that they can work in a hybrid environment where both humans and robots work together. So with this, we come to the end of the basic level of artificial intelligence. See you later. Thank you.